Feel very special.
Yeah.
I'm actually going to collect it in a couple of weeks, so that'll be exciting. Obviously very shocked when I first found out. And then when I got it, I sort of assumed that everyone in the team would get it. And then it ended up being about just 3 of us and obviously many of the girls. So yeah, it was obviously a special moment and yeah, one that I'll obviously cherish. Like, not many people get an MBE, do they?
The official Manchester City podcast. Watch the full video version of this show via City Plus now.
Nathan, we've got Lauren Hemp with us today, who, in my opinion, is probably City's best player.
Oof, okay.
So I'm quite excited just on that basis alone. But what are your thoughts ahead of this one?
Yeah, she's certainly one of the most exciting players for City and for England women by default. One of the most exciting players in women's football in general. So to get a chance to speak to her, to listen to her talk about her career, but then also so many people I know, they love her to bits, and I'm hoping that today from speaking to her you can kind of see why by the end of it.
She's very, very direct, and she's one of those players I find that always has an impact in some way. Over a 90-minute period, there'll always be something, there'll be a moment, if nothing else.
Yeah.
How would you describe Lauren Hemp to somebody who maybe hasn't seen her as much as you have?
I think direct is probably the best way to perceive her, whether that's running with or without the ball, or just being desperate to be a part of the game. She's not somebody who will spend 10, 15 minutes out of it altogether. She wants to be on the front foot, and she knows that physically, technically and tactically as well, she's got the advantage over a lot of people that she plays against, and she really makes the most of that. It might not lead to a goal, but can we finish with a cross? Can we finish with a free kick? Can we finish with a corner? And cause something to happen which now benefits the team. And I think she's the best example of that, because it very rarely comes to nothing.
Excellent. She signed a new contract recently as well.
It's not too bad. It's good business from City yet again.
Yeah, so this is a good time to be speaking to her. So, okay, let's get on with it. This is an interview with Lauren Hemp for the official Manchester City podcast.
We've got a chance here, Manchester City again, and X3, and an absolutely exquisite finish with 2.5 minutes to go, and we've talked her up, Lauren Hemp, and we've said what a good player she's going to be. And what a fine goal it was to wrap up the FA Cup final.
Lauren Hemp, thank
Hello.
you for joining us. How's your day going? What have you been training today?
Yeah.
Yeah? How did it go?
Yeah, it was alright. I was training on the stadium pitch. Then literally just done appearances the rest of the day.
Talk to us about growing up in Norfolk and your journey into football. We're always interested when we have our women's players on here, because maybe the pathways for women are not as embedded as they are for the men. So how did an interest in football end up being where you are today, which is a top-class professional?
Yeah, so I started off at my local boys team, because at the time there wasn't any girls teams that I could join. So I started there till I was about 11 or 12, and then I joined Norwich Centre of Excellence, which was a girls team, up until I was 15, and then they actually closed that Centre of Excellence down because it was too far for people to travel. I feel like Norwich is just its own area and so far for everyone to get to. So then I went back to a boys team for a year, and then I feel like also there wasn't many women's professional teams around that area, so then I ended up having to move to Bristol. I feel like that was the jump for me, that I had to really think if I wanted to do this as a career, because I ended up moving 5 hours away from home to Bristol to obviously pursue football, which is what I wanted to go and do. So yeah, I feel like that was massive for me, especially at age 16. And I feel like that was probably the turning point, because definitely when I was younger, there wasn't really a clear pathway for girls to be successful, because you're seeing it here and there, but even Man City was up and coming. The likes of Steph Hort and Jill Scott were probably the people that I looked up to, but it was still like you couldn't watch them on TV. You didn't really hear much about them. And so, yeah, it wasn't until I was a bit older that obviously, hopefully now girls can sort of see a more clearer pathway to succeed.
What was it like playing in those sorts of like boys teams from back then? Were you accepted because you were like really good, or was it like, oh, why is a girl playing with us?
Definitely when I'm back to it, when I was about 15, obviously boys were a lot more older, and yeah, sort of, I feel like they maybe didn't appreciate me being there as much as they probably did when I was a lot younger. What helped was that in my football team, it was probably the people that I went to school with, so they were more accepting of me, and I feel like once you show them once that you can play football, they're more accepting, definitely. But a lot of kids on the other teams were a bit abusive sometimes, and yeah, would probably shout at me a bit, and especially the parents as well of the lads if you try and get past them. And yeah, they can't take it. So I feel like it was probably less accepting when I was a bit more older, going back into it. But I feel like that helped me get a bit of a tougher skin than growing up and, yeah, getting thrown into the big wide world at 16.
That move from Norwich to Bristol,
Mm-hmm.
did you have any opposition from family at that time about making that move, or did they fully support kind of your decision there?
No, they were pretty understanding. I think we're all such a athletic family that they wanted me to succeed in whatever I wanted to do, and I feel like they definitely seen the potential in me. And I had a lot of coaches around me, like England coaches, who were supporting the move and telling me to go and do it. So I feel like once they listened to that, they were a lot more supportive about it. I feel like they probably struggled more than me when I left home at that age and were more concerned about me. Whereas, yeah, when I went to Bristol, like I was surrounded by girls who were the same age as me doing the same thing. And I ended up living with 3 or 4 other girls as well. So I sort of slotted in straight away. But yeah, I feel like I didn't really realise how big of a jump it was at that age, because obviously I didn't go home for then another year, like before I managed to go back to Norwich and see my family. So I didn't really anticipate that it'd be like that. So yeah, like I said, it was probably harder for them to get their heads around it than me.
Have you ever played a different position to the one that you do now?
I've had a few stints at left back. I've actually had a few stints at left back here this season. But yeah, other than that, no, not really. I feel like after a while, people realised how quick I was and then chucked me in the forward positions. So yeah, ever since I've played there.
We were talking before about your style. You're a very direct player, and you always seem to make something happen, in a game. Is that something you pride yourself on? Just trying to be the person who can turn that screw and just create, whether it be an opening, get a cross in, score a goal, whatever it might be. That's what your game's all about.
Yeah, I feel like, obviously with the more experience I've had, I've sort of felt a sense of responsibility and I feel like some people maybe, I feel are reliant on me maybe to create something in a game where it's maybe a bit low and stuff and things aren't going our way. I sometimes feel like I need to be that spark to maybe make something happen, and sometimes I feel like when I end up doing that, it sort of gives everyone that bit of boost to go on and do something as well. I feel like naturally for me, I'm quite an explosive player, powerful, like to get at people. Like that's where you get the best out of me. So I feel it's nice to sort of have that responsibility where people are looking at you to make things happen. And yeah, I'd probably say that's definitely the style of play that I try to have.
Have you always felt that way about trying to sort of have a spark for your teammates, or is there a point where maybe somebody said that to you, where they said you're so important that if you get us going, then we can do something?
I think looking back, there's been occasions like I remember playing Barcelona in the Champions League in an away leg, and it was the first one, and we were about 2-0 down at the time, and Kira looked at me and was like you're the person we need to get this ball to, and you're creating things, you're making things happen, and yeah, any moment you get, run at them and just make things happen for us, because obviously in moments like that, you've always got to look for someone to create that. And then when I'm not able to do that, I sort of feel more of a sense of responsibility that I need to be able to do that. So yeah, there's been occasions in games before where I have felt that, and people have told me that I'm the outlet, I'm the person you need to get the ball to if we're on the back foot, just lob it over the top and I'll run and get it. I'm normally the person that chases after everything.
Sounds to me like somebody that likes to see defenders suffer. That's what it sounds like.
Yeah.
And do you know, in terms of say the way that you do play and being direct, are you somebody that prefers goals or assists?
Oh, good question.
Or just sitting people down?
To be fair, I haven't got many skills in my locker, so I wouldn't say that last one. I'll probably say I pride more in the assists that I get.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know. I just like contributing, and sometimes I feel like it depends what the assist is like. Like if it's just a little pass and someone runs around a load of players and score, obviously I'd prefer a goal. But it all depends on what it's like. I don't know. I do like seeing other people score. Obviously I like scoring myself, and the feeling you get when you score is like no other. But I do like getting an assist, especially. Yeah, like a lot of Bunny's goals this season as well. I feel like proud of the assists that I've got in them. But yeah, it changes. If you ask me that question next week and I score a banger, it would probably be goals.
Okay, that's wise.
When Lauren describes her, that responsibility of being somebody to be the spark in a game, did you have anybody you played with who was particularly, you really felt like they were the one who were going to open the door for you?
I was lucky to spend a little bit of time playing some really, really good players. Like, you were talking like Yaya Toure's, talking like David Silva's, early stage as well. Like a Tevez. Tevez starting to press and doing something. Like, it gets the crowd going, it gets everybody going, because from a defensive standpoint, like, you can do the best that you can, but people aren't really going to see that much enjoyment from the game from what you're doing. It's led by the forwards. When the forwards are like Lauren and they're like high energy, high impact, it's like getting people right behind you. It's like you follow them. You follow them to war as such. So, yeah, this is perfect type play for me. You know what I mean?
How would you feel having been awarded an MBE at the age of 23?
Yeah, feel very special.
Yeah.
I'm actually going to collect it in a couple of weeks. So that'll be exciting. Yeah, just after the end of the season. So, yeah, it'll be nice. I was obviously very shocked when I first found out.
Did you have any inkling at all? No,
none at all. And then when I got it, I sort of assumed that everyone in the team would get it, and then it ended up being about just 3 of us. And obviously, I'd love for everyone else to get it. So I was a bit like taken back that they'd picked me out of obviously many of the girls. So yeah, it was obviously a special moment, and yeah, one that I'll obviously cherish. Like, not many people get an MBE, do they?
If you got one, would you have it on like your parking space? Would you have it outside your door? Or what would you be doing?
Yeah, it'd be on my mantelpiece at home.
Yeah.
Whenever anybody came in, you can immediately see it.
It is a huge achievement. It's interesting you mentioned the part about the other teammates not having it. Like, how does that? Did that affect the group at all, or was it more a case of people just happy for you?
A lot of people were very happy for me. The whole team was. We didn't actually meet for camp until a couple of months after, so no one was really speaking about it then. But no, I had so many messages from teammates, people at England, obviously girls at City as well, so they were all really chuffed for me. No one said anything, but I mean, for me, even like the year before when a few people got it as well, it's obviously great for them to get that achievement and stuff, but it would be so much nicer if the whole squad were able to have that as well. When obviously you dedicate your life to something, so does everyone else, and everyone has the same impact as you, and I feel like it'd be important to recognise everyone's achievements and not just your own.
See, that's probably one of the reasons as well why she got it, because it's beyond just herself. You know what I mean? And I think that really does matter, because as we can tell, she's hugely proud of it. Yeah. But she knows there's no one individual show within the game of football. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it is a huge honour, and obviously an amazing achievement. But you are playing in a time that is pivotal for the women's game. Do you feel that? Because the growth has been so rapid and the improvement in the game has been so quick, and you're kind of right in this sort of like perfect sweet spot. You're right in the middle of it all. That must feel great for you to be part of this.
Oh yeah,
this moment in history, basically.
Yeah, definitely, it's amazing, and I think, like you said, the growth of women's football has come on so much, especially over the last 4 or 5 years, and it's a great time to be involved in it. And even like playing for England and obviously winning the Euros, that was a massive step in women's football and helping it grow in England, and obviously the World Cup as well last year. So yeah, not only is it great to be at Man City and play, it's also great to be a fan of England and involved in the England setup. And yeah, it's crazy to think how much it can grow in another 5 years and where we could be.
How did you end up coming to City? Who spotted you, and how did it all work?
So it was when I was 18. I'd just finished my years at college at Bristol, and I actually had a phone call. Someone said that they were Nick Cushion's agent and that they wanted to speak to me. And at the time, I didn't have an agent, and I didn't know what to do with this phone call because I thought it was some sort of fix. So I told my mum and dad about it, and my mum ended up ringing the number back. And they passed the phone on to Nick, and he was like, yeah, no, we're being serious. We want you to come and play for City. And yeah, at the time I was just very taken back that they were interested in me. And then I ended up playing a game against them. It was one of the last of the season, and Steph came up to me after the game and was like, no, you really should come. We really want you to come. And that was the first time I'd ever spoken to Steph. So I was just a bit like, right, mum, I need to go because Steph's told me to go.
Agent Steph.
Yeah. So then I ended up making that decision to move here, and obviously it was a massive decision for me because I'd been coming from somewhere who a bit lower in the WSL. I was starting every game, and obviously we were looking up to players like Steph and Jill, like I said, and we were getting pumped by them every single time we played them, about 5-6-0, and I was thinking, God, am I ready for this? But I ended up taking that jump and obviously coming here, and it's been the best decision I've made.
How did you find that adaptation?
Yeah, it was really hard, especially in my first year. It took me a while to find my feet, and because I was playing against technically, obviously amazing players week in, week out, and yeah, some sessions I'd think I was the worst player here, and like, why are you here? And I feel like that's natural coming to a better team. But yeah, it took me a little while to get in and find my feet, but in the end I felt a lot more confidence, and I feel like probably the FA Cup final was the turning point for me because I'm a very like confidence-based player. If I'm not feeling confident, you'll probably see a very bad version of myself playing football. But yeah, I feel like the FA Cup final, I came on as a sub and I scored at Wembley, and I feel like that to me helped my confidence massively and just helped me to just settle my nerves a bit, because since then I've been maybe trying too hard to impress and yeah, probably making more mistakes than I would if I was relaxed. So I feel like, yeah, that was definitely a big turning point for me.
So when you're trying to impress, you think sometimes overthinking and that kind of thing. Did you ever have periods like that?
Oh, absolutely, yeah, absolutely. But mine's, it wasn't when I wasn't like a focal point in the team.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like in the same way she was talking about people relying on it to find the spark. Well, if there's any doubt within you as well, then the spark's can be harder to come by. I think at the back, obviously, it's a different experience. You just try and make things super simple, but up front, it's a different game, isn't it? But she's talking about scoring at Wembley. That one flex.
That's
that
nice.
Like,
yeah. It's
in
nice.
the cup final at Wembley where I scored. Yeah, that's nice.
We play a style that seems to suit you as well. Do you? Is that an attractive thing being at City, and not just the formation we play, which suits you, but also the style with which we play football? It's nice to be involved with that style.
Yeah, of course. I feel like Manchester City are a very attractive team. Like, you can tell the sort of way that we play, even the men's team, you try and make that into the women's team as well, and we try and play the same football as well. And I feel like, I want to say it, but I don't want to be too big-headed, but as a team and the way we play, I think it's the best in the WSL, and I think, the possession-based football that we play definitely suits me. Especially that we try and obviously get it out to the wide players, create things, put crosses in, and obviously that suits me because that's what I enjoy doing best. So, I really enjoy playing for this club and the way we like to play. You don't get many teams who maybe try and keep it as much as we do, but I think it's a very successful way of playing.
So presumably that was a big reason why you've just signed that new contract extension.
Yeah, definitely, yeah. The biggest thing for me is being successful, and I think Manchester City, as a team like that, you want to be winning trophies, and that's what we want to do. And unfortunately, we're maybe not won as many as we'd like to up until this point, but I'm so passionate about this team, and I know that we're improving so much. And this time last year we weren't in the title race, so even from that, we're improving as a squad, and we're capable of beating anyone on our day, and I know that we've still got a massive opportunity to win the league this season. So the desire to win trophies from everyone is very attractive, and obviously that's why I want to be here, to be successful as I can.
And you were talking before about like team goals and so on, but what are your personal ones? So say however the season finishes is how it finishes, but when you approach the next year, when you'll be turning 24, what are your individual sort of targets yourself?
I feel like each year they're obviously different, and I feel like I always try and push myself. So I always set a little target in my head, whether that's, I think around this season it was around 25 goals and assists sort of in all competitions. So next year, even if I don't make it, it'll probably be like 30. Like, I'm always looking to improve that on the next season. And sometimes I try and not think too much about stats and stuff like that, because a lot of the time it doesn't mean much if you play well in a game but then nothing comes out of it. But obviously stats win your games sometimes, so I feel like that's important to look at. But I feel like just being successful, whether that's winning trophies as a team, like obviously this year we wanted to win the FA Cup, Conti Cup and the league, but 2 of them are out of our control now. So yeah, I think next year in the Champions League is going to be massive for us and getting as far as we can, because we haven't been as successful as we have done, as we should really. So I feel like each season it changes, but I mean trophies are ultimately what I want to get.
Talk to us about the appearance on Hollyoaks. How did that come about?
Well,
Have you seen this?
I haven't seen this. No,
yeah.
I've not. I'll be honest. I've not watched Hollyoaks for a very long time.
No, me neither.
I didn't
but
know
I've
it was
seen
still
this.
going.
It was
I
great.
didn't know. Go
So,
on, tell me.
how does one get an appearance in Hollyoaks?
NBA.
Yeah, that's the key. Yeah.
So this is like just after the Euros, and I'm like I was a massive fan of Hollyoaks, and I mean I still am a bit. I wouldn't mind going back if they wanted me back, but clearly they didn't. I think my guest appearance was very good because they haven't invited me back since. But no, I think I remember when I think we just won the Euros and Hollyoaks had done a little snippet of a couple of fans watching the game, and it was a few of the actors, and I replied to one of the stories, and I'd said in interviews before I was a massive fan of Hollyoaks, and then someone ended up messaging someone at England saying we want Lauren to come and do a guest appearance, and obviously I snapped the hand at it. So yeah, I was on it for approximately about 30 seconds, but I mean an appearance is an appearance. So
How did you find the experience? TV is obviously different to football and the world we operate in. How was it?
Yeah, it was really fun. I feel like sometimes when you do like appearances here and stuff, you've got to be like a part-time actor sometimes. So I feel like I was all right. I mean, I've had mixed opinions about it, to be honest. Some people think it was great. Some people thought it was awful. But no, I mean, I wouldn't mind going back. It was a great experience. It was nice to sort of see how everything works, have a look around the village and stuff that they work in. And no, it was really fun. And I've made a few friends from Hollyoaks, which is nice.
Brilliant. And then also the contract renewal, we kind of had the Lego theme, because you obviously have a link up there and an interest in it. What does Lego bring to you?
I mean, I actually really enjoy doing it. You know, it's a nice pastime and it helps relax me. I feel like obviously training's so intense and there's so like I'm always thinking about the next day of training and things like that, and it just is so therapeutic, and it's just really nice to.
It's almost exactly what Phil Foden says about fishing, because he does that, and for pretty much every reason you've just said. Did you have anything that you did to switch off? And
it wasn't fishing. I tried that once, just didn't hit for me. I get it, but it doesn't hit for me. But I was going to ask actually, in terms of the Lego, are you somebody like from the film who's like a master builder who can create anything out of bricks, or are you somebody that has to have a plan and the box that says this is what you're going to make?
Yeah, I don't think I'm probably the most creative person out there, so I'm like great at following instructions. So I just get the book and follow the instructions.
Okay.
I find it hard to maybe have a load of pieces on the table and try and make it, because I feel like I'm a perfectionist, and if things aren't perfect, I don't like it. But like Laura Coombs, she rang me like not long ago and was like, I've got this bit of IKEA furniture, I can't do it, and so I ended up going around and making it for her. So I feel like if anyone needs any sort of IKEA furniture, then I'm on that.
I like that.
Yeah.
I like that.
what did you do away from the pitch then?
Away from?
To switch off a little bit.
As I got older, do the old stereotypical things, I started playing golf. That's what I started doing. But when I was younger, being from the city, I just used to hang out with loads of my friends and stuff in the afternoons. Like, just a proper city boy. Just going flipping Nando's, all that nonsense. Nando's, Wagamama was the basics. I didn't really have a true social life like that.
No.
I know you've kind of exposed me a bit there.
Sorry. I mean, golf's a good answer.
Yeah, but it took me a while to get there, though. That's the thing. But
because golf is like low risk for injury, but nice and relaxing.
I've tried it before. I can't.
Too frustrating.
Get the hang of it.
Yeah.
I'm all right on the driving range. I can swing it quite far. It's just not accurate.
Yeah, we'll see about that.
So, what are your plans for the summer? Have you got any holidays booked? You know, where do you kind of spend your time when you're relaxing away from the pitch?
I haven't got any holidays booked just now. I'm sort of a last minute.
Really?
Yeah. We've got quite a few England camps coming up, so yeah, that's got in the way of a couple of holidays. I've got a couple of weddings to go to, one in France, which will be nice. I'm looking to maybe go away to like Greece or somewhere like that for a good stint of time, but I feel like I'm just taking every day as it comes, to be honest. And my next thing is this MBE thing and sorting out all that and what I need to wear for it and things like that. And then after that, I'll probably book a holiday for like a week later. But yeah,
so what is that collection process? Have they contacted you and said you've got to be here at this time, or?
Yeah, so they've sent me a letter, and obviously it's very formal and things like that, and I can only take 3 guests, and that was a bit of a palaver at the time. So I've managed to get 4 now.
Yeah.
So
well,
all
yeah.
the
Yeah, I was
family.
gonna
Nice,
say,
got an
you went
extra
too
one.
soon,
Yeah,
didn't you?
yeah.
Went too soon.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't need to say you wasn't getting the invite, but now
Yeah.
they are, so that's all good. But yeah, so the day, to be fair, it's only like about an hour, and you get your thing and have a few photos, and then you're off.
That'll be great, though.
Yeah, no, it'll be fun.
Talk to us about the England camp then. So something's been created there that with the Lionesses that's, from the outside at least, it looks incredibly positive. Talk to us about the atmosphere and the quality and you know, your excitement basically for the future of the Lionesses.
Yeah, it's really exciting. Obviously, we've got next year, and I mean, off the back of the Euros and the World Cup, I mean, it couldn't really get much better than that. And yeah, it's an amazing time to be involved in the England setup. And yeah, the girls are incredible, and you just go there and you're surrounded by so many amazing players that, yeah, it's great. And obviously we're selling out every single stadium that we go to at the moment. So yeah, I feel like we've definitely got a lot of fans behind us, and it's a great time to be involved in that. And unfortunately we didn't get to the Olympics this summer, but I feel like it gives us a bit of time to just relax and yeah, just get going again to then be ready for the Euros and the World Cup.
You're a big Lionesses follower. What have you made of it? Because it's not just been good on the pitch, it has absolutely captured a nation, hasn't it?
Yeah, it certainly has. I think from my side of things, having watched like women's football for the longest time, like my history with Steph, like we met, he's probably too young. Do you know MySpace? Have you heard of MySpace?
No.
Okay, so it's when social media was a bit different. So I met her on
so
that
old.
like yonks ago. And I used to watch the Arsenal teams that were dominant from back then. I was with Umbro, so I used to do like photo shoots with Rachel Yankee and things. Oh, this is so good. Then seeing the England team get better, seeing them get better. And then I think with England in general in football, you just get used to them not winning things.
Yeah.
So then all of a sudden to win it and to win it on home soil, to have so many eyes on it, like the impact it was having, it's like that was the thing which you had to watch in that moment, because England women are playing, and now they're playing in the final. It looks like they're going to win it. Like,
Do you think it's had an impact on that collective psyche of the nation? You know, that loser mentality is probably too...
It's harsh, mate.
Bit harsh.
That's
But like,
harsh.
but do you know that kind of like, we go into tournaments and we always fear the worst.
I think
something bad's going to happen. We're going to go out in a penalty shootout or whatever. Do you think that the Euros changed that?
For me personally, I think it was a good chance for lots of people to get a chance to see how good the women are. And they might not have seen tons of games beforehand, but they could see how good they were in this moment. They could see what the other nations were good at as well in that time, because this was front and centre. And I think because of that, you get to see how good you and your team are.
Yeah.
And people now, when they were getting ready for the World Cup, they had a genuine belief that they could win it because they knew how good they are. They might not have seen some other teams, you're talking about USA's and the like, but know that the girls that England are sending over there are really good. In the same way, say, this summer for the men, I know lots of people believe that they can't win it, but when you ask them why, the reasons that they give are things which don't really make sense, because they know that the team is good enough because you've seen them do it so many times. So it was an incredible moment. And even from my side of things, I've got 3 kids, 2 daughters and a son who's the youngest. And like my girls, they want to watch City women. Like when they play on FIFA or EAFC, they want to play City women.
Yeah.
That's the thing which has changed the most across so many years, because previously they'll think football's just for this. And I don't know, there's just as much quality on the other side of things, and it's nice, man. I enjoy it.
Yeah, you said before the last 4 or 5 years, it's chat, and I really agree with that. It's the speed of change, I think, has been amazing.
It's amazing. Long may it continue, because I've known a lot of female footballers for the longest of times, and some of the stories that they tell are not the stories which we hear about out in the open.
Yeah.
But things aren't perfect, but they're going a long way away from where they used to be. Let's just say that, at least
fantastic.
in my opinion. Yeah.
One question we ask pretty much every guest who comes on is, what would you change? If I give you a magic wand and you could change anything about football, what would it be? Not necessarily a rule on the pitch, it can be, but anything about the industry at large or whatever it is.
That's a really good question.
It's not a unique question to him, by the way. It's not a unique question to him. Let's get ahead of this now. Like, let's not praise him too
I didn't
much.
come up with this, did I?
Yeah, let's not praise him too much.
Producer Craig did, I think.
Yeah, let's not praise him too much, Lauren, please.
I'd probably say the exposure maybe of women's football.
Yeah.
I feel like obviously it's coming on quite a lot, but I think we'd like to see more of it.
Yeah.
I think obviously back in the day women's football was it, and then it got all cut and now it was like men's football, whatever, and obviously now women's football's back on it, but I feel like there could be more things done to help expose women's football just as much as men's. So whether that be advertising boards, just different things that obviously the men get as well, just to help bridge that gap, because I still think there's obviously a long way to go.
Absolutely, there is.
In terms of that.
Yeah. And why is exposure so important? Is it to show younger?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think when you see it, you can then truly believe it, and it's so important having games on Sky and BBC, because it helps young people to just watch it and really it inspires them, and it helps them to want to go on and be a professional footballer.
They can actually visualise a future, yeah. If we asked you to leave a question for our next guest, what would it be? We can't tell you who the guest is because I don't think we know, but they'll be connected to Manchester City Football Club.
Can it be anything?
It can be anything. In fact, our last guest was Sean Gota. Producer Craig, what was the question Sean left?
Have you been to a better place than Bermuda?
Oh, yeah. he was promoting his home country of Bermuda. No, me neither. He described it and he made it sound amazing.
Has anyone been?
No, I've not.
I've been. It's good, to be fair.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, it's really
Have you
good
been to anywhere better then?
Yeah, I have, yeah.
Oh, go on.
But it's really good. Lots of places better, but it's good. Like, I enjoyed the Bahamas. I enjoyed Hawaii. I've enjoyed the Maldives, Mauritius, Singapore. I can keep going. But
More
it was
than
still
Bermuda?
nice. Yes.
Right.
But it was still good,
So there's
though.
a lot of places.
That's a
better.
lot of places, yeah.
Okay, yeah, but in fairness, when I went to Bermuda, it was when I was 18. So maybe it's like otherworldly right now. So
Yeah.
I'll have to check
We were
that out.
considering doing part 2 with Sean Gota, but doing it from Bermuda. That's the
Listen,
plan.
he's got the budget for it.
That's
So
the plan.
he should sort us out.
What question would you leave?
I'm always intrigued to know what celebrity they'd have round their house for dinner.
Oh, that's a good one. I like that. Craig, make a
When
note.
do you write it down?
I always do, but then I forget to bring it. So Craig started making a note in his phone. Regardless of what happens, we have gone on a massive winning run, a record-breaking winning run this year, which shows the consistency and quality in this team. I was looking at some stats. I think of the thousands of minutes, 1,260 minutes. You've only missed 23 of those. So you've been a massive part of that run. A run like that, because we've seen it with Pep's, the men's team. They put those runs together consistently. Once they did it once, it felt like they knew they could do it again. Other times, how important do you think this run could be psychologically going into the next seasons?
Yeah, really important. It gives us a benchmark to now go and get better. So what was it, about 14, 13 wins in a row? So we want 15 next season. Like, we want to keep breaking records and achieving new things. And like I said, I think we're really capable of doing that. And I think consistency really helps us as a squad. Like, it just helps in terms of positivity. Like, sometimes you'd lose a game and then the next one you'd lose. You got on a losing streak and things like that. So yeah, I think the key in everything is just being consistent. And I know that a lot of times this season we've maybe lost a game, but the one thing that's been different is we've bounced back every single time and gone on to win the next. So obviously that's going to be important in a couple of weeks' time. But I know that we'll bounce back pretty quickly.
Well, brilliant. Good luck. We've loved watching you play this season, both you and the team. Good luck, and thank you for dropping by and being on the podcast.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you.
Thanks.
The unbeatable official Manchester City podcast. Watch the full video version of this show via City Plus now.